A huge shout out to the overthinkers.
An overthinker. He watches the show.
To the overthinkers, shout out my friend too.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
Shout out to the overthinkers. Thando kuphela. Much love.
To my overthinkers, mamela ubuchopho ngeke buphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it.
Oh, welcome everybody to the show. This of course is the Overthinking Football Show. My name is George Mokwena. I am your host. This show is on every Monday to Thursday at 7 p.m. during AFCON, at 8 p.m. When we're back into the regular swing of things. And then, of course, on Fridays at 12:30, where my breadwinners, man, the people who contribute to this show, get to come in and tell me what they want to speak about and run the show as part of their perks for being contributors towards the show. Please remember that this show is on Facebook, YouTube, and on TikTok. So those on Facebook and on YouTube who are hearing voices, maybe you've watched a previous live before and you're wondering, but how do I add my voice to the show? How do I come in and be part of the panels and then also add my 2 cents to whatever's been spoken about? You can do that by joining me on TikTok. Then when I go live on TikTok, at the bottom of your screen, there's a button that says multi-guest. I'll tell you when you can click on it, you can request, you can jump in. Guys.
Aze ngapetuka ke moyeni, ngapetuka kwasipetu.
Nothing apetuka, guys. We're going to speak about what happened last night. Last night, Bafana Bafana had made it to the semi-final of AFCON. Something none of us expected. Nobody could say confidently that they were going to win the AFCON when they left the country. I remember distinctly there was a match versus Lesotho where it was 0-0, and after that, we were really doubting what Bafana Bafana was going to do when they got into this tournament. And they went on a long road, guys. They went on a long road, lost to Mali in the first game, drew with Tunisia, beat Namibia 4-0 in the second game, drew with Tunisia, beat Morocco, beat Cape Verde, and then we came up against Nigeria. An old foe, an old rival, somebody we've got deep ties with in terms of just everyday life. And we came up against them, and they managed to win the game. Firstly, I'm going to start us off by saying, well done to Bafana Bafana. Well done to them. I know I said I breezed over it, but guys, this was a team that was criticized from day one. This was a team that nobody trusted. This is a team that had to play through everything that was going wrong, criticisms. Why why is this starting? Why is this happening? Is Hugo Bruce the right man? Is that and they came out and they performed. I think we severely underrate this team, and I think we also underrate what they've done over the time they've had Hugo Bruce. Currently, we are over 50% of our games that we've won. Currently, we actually qualified for an AFCON, which is something we hadn't done since 2019, if I'm not mistaken. And then this team has been performing. We've beaten teams that are number 1 in the world. We've beaten teams that were meant to come in and wipe the floor with us, with a team that didn't have that much depth, didn't have that many other options on the bench. I think some of the things that we did in this tournament and how we've played up to this point, it was going to catch up to us at some point. We've played, 6 different types of football in this tournament. We played all of these different types of football, and I think some of our glaring mistakes were going to catch us at some point. It just so happened to be versus a Nigeria team that isn't the greatest, but they get the job done. I think at the end of the day, the big lesson we should take from this is that you have to get the job done when you get into these places. Now, I'm just going to speak a little bit about the game itself. I think we are a similar team when we look at Nigeria and ourselves in terms of what we aim to do when we play the ball. I think they don't have an out-and-out way, direct way to get Victor Osimhen the ball in dangerous places where he can score from open play, from a move that they've done, similar to how we struggle having Evidence Mahopa. I think that Nigeria understands this, and they knew that we need to get the ball into the box at all costs. And when we get into the box, that's when Osimhen can cause some chaos there and be able to, make something happen, a penalty, make something happen, a defender slips, a defender does something. Similar to how we look incredible with our passing in the final third when we can get the ball up to the final third. But a lot of the time it doesn't actually give us something that we can hold on to. But it looks incredible when we do play the ball up. I think in terms of Bafana Bafana, for me, we've struggled with one thing. For me, this Bafana Bafana team has struggled, a couple of things, but this is my biggest one. My biggest thing that we struggle with the setup of how we played Bafana Bafana throughout this tournament is that there isn't a link between the defense and the midfield and Tembazwane. And I'm singling out Tembazwane. That's who I'm looking at to say that that's who I would want to get the ball as quickly as possible so that he can cause havoc up front. We've got a workman-like midfield. And I wasn't kidding when I said that they play similar to how Kaizer Chiefs plays, where you've got 3 players in the midfield. 1 becomes an extra defender, and 2 are workhorses who are meant to run around on the side, winning balls and helping the wing backs and the left and right backs. This is what Ustole and Mokoena had been doing all tournament long. But this meant that we couldn't move the ball up. We couldn't progress the ball the way we'd want to progress the ball, because we've got 2 center backs who, Kekana, incredible. He's a soldier, he clears the ball. And then you have Mbala, who isn't bad on the ball, but he's not confident enough for you to want to give him the ball a lot of times. You have Umudiba and Budau, who are played as traditional left and right back, and they're not traditional left and right back in the way that they were played by Hugo Bruce. Umudiba usually tucks into that midfield of Sundowns and becomes an extra midfielder needed to progress the ball up. And Umudau is usually running all the way up the wing in order to win, in order to make some magic up there in the final third on the right-hand side. So already you can tell that there's a lot of people who are uncomfortable on the pitch. But I have to give credit to them, because even with all of that, they still won games. And to be honest with you, I found myself at times sitting back and saying, during that game versus Nigeria, sitting back and thinking, boy, do I wish the way we were playing, we could go back to the way Hugo Bruce wanted to play. Hugo Bruce came out and told us that the way you guys want to play and the way you guys carry the ball and do things is incredible. It looks beautiful. It looks great. We played our best game yesterday, according to Hugo Bruce. But the problem is that it's not direct enough for us to be able to get something from these games. And I do think that one of the problems that we had in this game was that we really thought penalties, man. We overestimated ourselves when it came to penalties as the Bafana Bafana. We thought to ourselves, we're going to go into penalties, Ronwen is going to do the business again, and we're going to see them through. You could even tell with the watch-along when I was speaking to people, everybody was so glad to just get the 1-1 out of the way so that we could go to penalties. But it turned out that in Nigeria was also had also studied, had also learned, and in Nigeria won the penalty shootout. That's just how it is. In as much as we had a very good goalkeeper in Ronald Williams in terms of saving penalties, even though he didn't save one yesterday, we also know that we're not very strong in terms of taking them. And Tebogo Mokoena missed his penalty, Everest Mahopa missed his penalty, and we find ourselves having to play a 3rd place playoff. Now, all the critiquing in the world does not take away from the fact that this team did what they did. All the critiquing in the world does not take it away. They surprised us. They played out of their skins at times. They did incredible things in this tournament that none of us expected, as I said before. So I don't want to take anything away from them, because in as ugly as I said, they played in the different things that I wish they could have done better. Oksalayo, they won. And even in this game versus Nigeria, it came down to a penalty that Nigeria won on their side, a penalty that we won. And then it went to extra time and then the actual penalties. And that is a lottery. So you can't necessarily say that we played so badly that we didn't deserve anything from this game. But I'm going to open up now, guys. I want to hear from you guys. Tell me what you saw from this game, how you felt about this game, and what we feel about Bafana Bafana as we are looking at this. Let me just open up for you guys and read some of these comments. Theo, where were you, Theo? Where were you yesterday? Fananom says, Ola Uti, I'm very proud of Bafana. They fought very hard. That is true. That is very true. They fought very hard. There is room for improvement. Holder says 3 penalties. Okay, guys, so remember you have to be following me in order to jump in. And if you're listening from another platform, YouTube or Facebook, let us, you can join me on TikTok and then I'll be able to let you in after you followed me. And we can have the conversation about this Bafana Bafana team and what it means. What they did, and maybe things we could change and make better from this. So let me start with Vovo. Vovo, how are you?
OT, I'm good, and you, man?
Ish, I'm sad, but I'll be okay.
Yeah. I guess I'm good, but in terms of I'm sad.
Yeah. How did I'm gonna ask you 2 questions. How did you see the game? Number 1. And then number 2, did you think that the Sianda Kulu change was needed in this game? Taking out Morena, putting in Kulu. Do you think that this was the game to change things?
Okay. Question number 1. It was a tough game. And then.
I think you just need to speak a little bit louder there, my boy.
Okay, we are ngezo man.
Yeah, no, Nikran, man.
Yeah, it was a tough game. It was a tough game. We played our best. As Hugo said, we played our best football. We the tournament. So, yeah, sibayekile man uthi. Serious, like sibayekile. And then aerially bebahluleka. I don't know why Hugo change le pattern bekabalanda ngayo yabona le instruction bekabanikile ukuthi okay let's dip in the balls then spawn ukuthi bayenza njani yabona so aerially besibashaya we got I think maybe 4 or 5 chances swalupa in sithole chance but singakori yabona Pace had I think 2 or 3 chances akazange awathathe Mahopa had 1 goalkeeper great save yabona into ezinjalo but ke mina angazi ukuthi angazi yabona we need to work on reading a game nathi as a coach and management yethu they need to read the game they mustn't just do changes nje to accommodate bona you understand so they need to read the game sibone ukuthi okay I weakness yabo ila let's work on that they understand yeah as everyone saw sibonile game was great and then yeah konje question number 2 yeah isapu kaQulu
yeah
isapu kaQulu I think uyenze while we are 1-0 down mangikhumbula kahle ne
no yeah ngithi Kulu starting the game
starting the game
yeah
we change formation then the planning coach honestly bega planning which if we can get a draw then go to penalties the formation says it all but we went there nale formation there I think it was 5-3-1 yeah it was 5-3-1
yeah 5-4-1
5-4-1 or 5 yeah somewhere there yeah I mistake yeah 5-4-1 so yeah manoti yenzekile whatever yenzekile the plan lakhe lama penalty silitholile unfortunately ama player wethu they are not good in taking penalties mina I was worried I wanted ukuthi game iphele kwi 90 minutes then singafika ama penalty I wanted that the match to end 90 minutes if we lose we rather lose a game in if we win we rather win a game in because Cape Verde you saw if it wasn't for Ronan Williams we would have been out by now
okay.
So you can plan ihambe kahle plan and it goes bad so now it went bad because we poor in taking penalties so we need to work on that we need to work on taking ama-penalties were too accurate.
Okay.
Yakamakhupa, man, it's not
The
schoolboy penalty.
I'm gonna jump in just for time, Bobo. I'm gonna ask you guys about the penalties. I'm gonna come back. Let me go to Tebza. Tebza, how are you, my brother? Are you feeling any better?
No, I'm feeling better, man. I'm feeling better. After I slept today, when I woke up, I just realized how the team made us proud, man. It was pain that was in that moment. When we lost the game, you lost the game. Doesn't matter if you overachieved your objectives or what. A loss is a loss. You're gonna feel pain, but then as time goes on, when you look back and you say, no, man. But then I really did. When you start to appreciate what you have achieved at that particular moment, considering we never gave our team any support. We didn't support them at all. We had doubts, all doubts. Starting with the coach, the players that were selected, the style of play, everything. It was negative. So for them to have played like that with all the negativity, it means they were mentally strong and they were ready. They knew that they were ready for this thing. We didn't know how ready they were.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of the boys, man. They played.
What did you think of the tactical change, bringing in Kulu and making it that back five type situation?
It's the third time that I'm saying to you that I expected it.
Okay.
I expected it. I predicted it the night before. I said he might play with 3 defenders and playing with the wing backs so that Pacey and Zwani can play closer and also closer to Makupa to cause problems here. And then I think it worked. And as Vovo said, I was disappointed when he didn't take advantage of Nigeria's defense not being able to deal with long balls. Understand? That were put behind them. I thought second half, first substitution would be Morena to run behind them. Understand? Whenever we dispossess them, we play the ball direct. We don't play the tiki-taka that we play at the back. Just play behind them, Morena, and then we will outrun them. Then maybe we could have punished them from that. So another thing that I think he would have done that would have maybe benefited us, it was to sub Omar Kopa and then maybe play with a false 9 because their defense was slow. Say it needed pace with so playing Tau in the middle there, it could have caused them a problem because they are slow. They tall defenders find it difficult to deal with shorter players who are quick. So maybe he should have done that. But then we could have also took our chances. We had a lot of chances to bury the game, not only to blame the coach about his tactical things. It means his tactics also worked. It's just that our players didn't finish. If they took their chances, we wouldn't be talking about the tactics or that he got wrong. So if they took those chances, we could have we could be talking another thing. Yeah.
I just wanted to jump in. Look, guys, for me, I don't mind the back five. I was one of the people that had been calling for us to do a back five. But my problem is, why are you doing a back five? And that's where maybe I disagree with what Bruce did. I want a back five so that Mudiba can become an extra midfielder. And you have enough cover for him. Similar to what Sundowns plays. 3 center backs. One of them is a CDM Mukutsia, but then Mudiba can go freely and join the midfield, Nabotemba, Nabomkwena, because he knows that on the left-hand side, I've got AB there, or I've got Lebusa there. Somebody who's going to just, make sure that if we get caught on the counter, there's someone to cover me on that side while I become an extra midfielder. I think our back three, I don't think it was a tactical change. I don't think it was an incredibly tactical thing that we did to be. I think they were just afraid of Osimhen. And if you could watch how he played, at some point, at most points during that game, it was 3 defenders versus 1 Osimhen. And that caused a bit of a problem, especially later in the game when they took him out because they didn't know what to do. But it minus 2 players. So instead of minus 3 players, so instead of having one-on-one a player with Osimhen, now you have Kulu also there, and you also have Vala also there, and you have Kekana also there. So now you've got 3 players on this one guy. And funny enough, he was still winning all the balls. So I feel as though what I thought was going to happen was maybe he was going to play a CDM or somebody that can progress the ball or do something, or at least play a CDM and allow Stoll and Mokoena the chance and the ability to move around and do all of that stuff. So I think it was a fear tactic. And what makes me even more worried about it, or when I look at it, when I analyze it, is that I don't think Nigeria gave us that much of a threat that we needed to have 3 men on 1 striker, that we needed to be defensively so what. I don't think they gave us that much of a threat, especially in the first half, especially with us. But again, I will caveat that by saying we had chances, clear-cut chances. Mudau had a chance at the end of the game. Tau and Mahupa, both of them had chances that they didn't take. One was a poor shot. The other one, I believe, also was a poor shot. Well, a save, if I'm not mistaken. But if you don't take your chances, you're not going to be able to win. Usually, football gods do that to you. And I think my worry again is, first half, Nigeria played a way. Second half, they flipped gears. And we've seen the gears get flipped when we played versus Mali. We saw it a little bit when we played versus Cape Verde. We saw it now versus Nigeria, where Nigeria started getting more confidence in the game. They got more of the ball. They started pressing us. They started giving us problems when they made some changes. When they took off Osimhen, if not for Grant Kekana taking one for the team there, it would have been 2-1 if number 24, I'm just forgetting his name, had gone through and scored. So there is a thing to be said about when the tactics change. When the other team goes, okay, we saw how you guys playing first half. We're going to play like this second half. And we can't adapt to that. Let me go to Campbell. Campbell, how are you? Campbell, you can just unmute there. Campbell, apana papa. Okay, let me check with the others. Sinjay, are you with me?
Whoa, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, who's here? Okay, let's go with Campbell. Campbell, can you hear me?
Campbell. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, Sinjay, I'm gonna come to you after. Tell me, what did you think of the game? Number 1, and then number 2, what did you think of our inclusion of Sianda Kulu into the squad?
Yeah, first let's talk about the game. I think our boys did well. They did very, very, very well. And I think let's blame ourselves as a supporters. Let's blame the first thing. Let's blame ourselves because we didn't give the team the support they needed. And our coach, he did everything to please us as a supporters. Because you know why I'm saying this. That's why he went for this game. He went with 4 defenders. With 5 defenders, and when we include Kulu, it was a best thing to do what coach did, but not Kulu. Maybe if it was somebody else, that position we needed somebody who's gonna help our midfield with supplier to supply the winger and to supply the striker. But I think. Yeah, but I think our coach was too defensive. And then our strikers and our wingers, they didn't get the ball that they needed.
Okay.
Especially our number 9. If you can check our number 9, sometimes it will take 10 to 15 minutes without seeing him doing anything. He was just looking for the ball, opening those spaces for Temba Zwan, but we didn't use those spaces. We didn't. but our boys played very well. But I want to tell you something, and there's this thing what we are saying, we have given our coach enough time. It's the time for him to go. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. If you let's go back. If you remember our past coaches, it was us who made them to go, because remember Safa listened to supporters. Safa listened to supporters. If we are not happy, it means the coach must go. But with this one, I think we need to give our support to this coach. We need to. The same thing that Mamelodi Sundowns did with Mamelodi Sundowns did with Pizzo. Remember, Sundowns supporters, they said Pizzo must go. But Mutsipe said no, Pizzo must stay. The next season, what happened? Even today, Sundowns is where they are today because of Pizzo. Because of the chances that Mutsipe give the Pizzo. Now is our time as South Africans to give this coach a chance. Let's support this coach. We need to give everything we have to this coach. Because our boys are playing very well. Our boys are playing very well. It's just a few things. I think when it comes to striking force, we needed Mayo. We needed somebody who can replace those guys there. We need somebody with hunger, with pace. I think if we did that, we had Mayo in that squad, I think we can say something else now.
Okay.
But we given those guys a big run. A big run. We need to give those guys a support, guys. This is what we need.
Okay, no.
For Kulu, for me, Kulu is a no. For Kulu is a no. Unless if we pushed Mvala to that position of Kulu and we pushed Kulu back so that Mvala can help our two midfield with those passes, I think it was going to be something else. But
okay, my brother. I'm gonna come back.
Kulu didn't give us what we needed.
I'm gonna come back because I want to ask you something on that. I'm gonna come back because I want to ask you something.
Okay.
Let me get everybody in. Hey, Stingy with the pen. How are you?
Mr. OT.
How are you, my brother?
Georgie. I'm alright, man. How are you?
I've come down. I was sad. I was had by our Nigerian brothers. But it's okay.
Mara, you've got feelings to play around. But why are you sad?
When they show you a lifestyle, like that's what they say. The women say they showed me a lifestyle, man, and I wanted to keep that lifestyle up, man. But it's fine. Wait, what did you think of the game? And then what did you think of the tactical change of bringing in Usianda Kulu into the team?
One, I think as you said, that the back five with three center backs, and then you don't have a central midfielder that is protecting them, makes it a bit useless. In particular, when you are trying to deal with a striker, and you see that this striker, even though you've got three center backs, he's winning the balls, he's turning your defense around. He's winning area balls. I don't know how many balls that guy jumped over Mval, but he did. The reason why most people don't notice is that when he hits the ball, it goes over the upright or it goes wide. We don't look at the fact that he won the ball. And I'm very worried that we had three center backs that couldn't deal with one strike. But nevertheless, I don't put that aside. Now you've got three full backs. You've got three center backs. You've got two full backs. You've got Umkulisi and you've got Aubrey. None of them made a cross into your striker. That makes me wonder, what are their job then if they are not going to assist you attacking? You spoke about shifting gears. Did we see any gears being shifted? That's another problem with Hugo Boss's squad. Its lack of depth causes him not to have motions moving forward, different waves of attack. He constantly relies on one trick pony. And I will say this again: you will never win any championship with one trick. We saw that with Ernest Middendorf. We must have learned from him. that a one-trick coach will not win you anything. My second concern is that if Tebogo Mokoena is not giving you result, who do you have? And I ask this question again: who do you have in that squad?
Yeah.
When this Orlando Pirates duo are not giving you the result, I don't blame him. I don't blame this guy. We watched him playing as a wing instead of being in the box. We watched him having a ball there by the corner flag. Now tell me, Mahupa, what is Mahupa going? What danger does he possess having the ball by the corner flag? Who is supposed to have that ball? He is supposed to be in the box. But because there is starvation of movement, he is now like a shark that is coming to the near shore of the sea just to bite.
Wait, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Let me just mute. Go on.
Now I'm saying we are going to blame Mahupa to say that he's ineffective. But we are not looking at the fact that the channels that is supposed to give him balls are starved. Obrimo Diba is not crossing the balls to him. Kulisimu is not crossing the balls to him. Tau is not crossing the balls to him. Tampazwane is not feeding him the balls. Now he has to run the same channels that the wing backs are supposed to be running in order for them to retain possession in the final third of the opposition. And then now we are saying that the guy is useless. And unfortunately, and I will say this, then the tactics of the coach then starts to play in terms of how do you correct that. When Obrimo Diba is not running in the proper channels, who do you have as a left back? When Umkulisi is not running in the proper... People are saying Umkulisi should have buried the chance. The guy has played 108 games and only scored 4 goals. He's not a goal-scoring wing back. He's not like Tau and the rest of the Kulu, whatever the other guys that are playing right backs, that had the knack of scoring goals. And I'll say this again. The Nigerian striker went into the semi-finals in this tournament with 20 chances missed. And our striker only had 7 chances in the whole tournament. That tells you about the build-up, the style of play. It tells you how intentional we are with the ball. What is our intention when we have the ball is my biggest problem or my biggest worry.
I'm gonna come back because you touched on something very important. I just want to say on the Mahupa point, it's something that I've also mentioned that for me, I understand the tactics of it. I understand you want a tall guy and we played Route 1 at some point during the tournament where Mahupa was winning the first ball very well. I can't take that away from him. My issue with Umahupa more specifically, and my issue with him, even go Pirates, you've got a guy who we saw at Baroka. We saw a guy who was lethal within the box, headed the ball very well, was very good when in that small box and in that area. Play your tactic, bring him back, make him do all the work and make him work and do all of that stuff. But also at times, create simple plays for him where he can also get his chances, where he can also get his beak wet. Create some chances for him that are easy for him. Of all of the goals we've seen from Umahupa this season, tell me how many of them have come from him playing the way he was playing. So my worry, again, with Bafana Bafana is that I get the tactics of it. I understand that you want to drag the center back and then Pesi can run in and then it creates space for this one and that one. The problem is that you've got a guy who's very good. My suggestion was always very simple. Play Percy false 9. Put Mahupa on the bench, right? Then play a speedy setup with that false 9 system. Drop him back to be in midfield. He can link up with Zwane. If they can transition quicker, then they can open spaces for the wingers, for themselves. They can combine and dance, as Coach Pizzo puts it, right? Then do a bomb squad or a completely separate change, similar to what these AFCON teams do in the second half. Then you bring in Mahupa, you bring in Lepasa, and you say, guys, nginfune boxini, across a manch. Show them a different look. Bafana Bafana doesn't have a different look. But anyway, let me go to Upilani. Pilani, how are you?
I'm fine, my brother. Thanks, and yourself.
I know, Nikran. Tell me, what did you think of the game that we played yesterday? And then what did you think of Sianda Tolu making it into the starting lineup and us going with the back five?
I mean, firstly, let me just maybe greet all the guests and yeah, what you call yesterday's game was very, very, very. It was a nerve-wracking type of a game. I think our approach yesterday was completely different from what the coach has been doing from all these other games that we've won. You said something very important. You said go first half, Nigeria went there with the mindset they wanted to absorb pressure as much as they can. Like you saw, I think that was deliberately. They knew exactly what they were doing. And so their plan was to absorb pressure so that we go on them. And the more we don't break their defense, is the more we actually get frustrated and also get overexcited thinking that no, we actually have the upper hand. Kantibona, they know when they come back on exactly. I'm sorry, man. So when they come back, go second hand. And then they lifted their hand up to say we are now here. They brought down their game plan. That is why if you compare the first and the first round and the second round, you can actually see that on the first round they didn't even have so many attacks or so many threatening what you call ball play. But on the second round, they had plenty of those. And the reason they realized that, okay, whenever we are in possession of the ball, we get so excited playing that tick-tack. We are actually giving here at the back. We've got possession here at the back, but the only problem, the ball moved from the back five. The minute it gets into the middle field, we are not able to transition or rather to play the same strategy going forward. So they realize that okay, in the middle field, if it goes in front, it's not going to work. It's either Mahopa is wide or something like that. So I personally believe we would say, okay, I'll just give you a plain example. This is my own what you call observation. If you realize, I think first half we play three dangerous what you call a forward play, whereby the ball was kicked from the back straight into the front. The either one if first touch and the ball rolled and he couldn't catch the ball. I believe if we continued with those long ball passes, that could have definitely worked on our side. And maybe I also want to comment about this guy Omar Hope. I am an Orlando Pirates fan. But Omar Hope, my brother, that guy is not a striker. I don't have anything personal against him. I love the guy. He's a human being. But the position Aguyo, that guy is not a striker. What makes a striker to be a striker is someone who avails himself in the box and also have the ability to make use of the ball whenever he's in possession of the box in the box. And Makgopa is nothing next close to that. Makgopa knows how to avail himself in the box, but his composure when it comes to that last touch is not is not good when it comes to that. And my last comment, Guma penalty. You know, it was very discouraging seeing coach Yuko Pros azonikeza uMakgopa penalty before Guno Sibisi. Why did you put Sibisi from the first place? Why give Makgopa a penalty instead of you were supposed to give Mvala first, so that you know if it's Mokoena, it's then Mvala. After Mvala is then Sibisi. You know which those guys you've got 80% of them actually converting those penalties into goals. But now you start with Mokoena, then the following one is Makgopa. Why is it like that? I don't know. Maybe you'll answer me, my brother. But personally, I think Umvala is much better when it comes to penalties. Yes, because they're not playing the same position. But when it comes to confidence, penalties, Mvala is way much more better than Makgopa. What you call Usibisi, is way much more better. Remember, if you're going to put someone whose confidence is very low, Makgopa, you can even see his body language that he's like, it needs someone who has that speed, who has that confidence. Even when they move towards the ball, you want someone who will move towards the ball. Look at that guy. The one who converted their first penalty from Nigeria. My brother, his body language has a lot to say to you. Makgopa, you see him, obviously, even when he walks there, he does not give you that thing. And which penalty has he ever converted on a very critical phase of the game? So I personally believe it could have been Mokoena, Usibisi, or what you call Umvala. And then you know those guys are going to give you goals, because if you're going to hit a penalty and you lose, obviously the next person who's going to come after you, obviously second pressure already. And lastly, on sorry for this cut.
Very quickly,
point. Yeah, my last point. This thing, we used most of Sundowns players. Personally, I actually enjoyed that. And I know that most South Africans, more especially Kaizer Chiefs fans, they didn't like that. But ever since, you know, every time when they say Bafana Bafana is playing, when they pick up one player from Sundowns, one player from Pirates, one player from this team, one player from that team, every time we don't reach, or rather get to that stage. When Nigeria won the cup before 1995, they had 7 players coming from one team. I think that was in 1992, if not 1999, somewhere there. They had 7 players that were coming from one team, and they got those results. So I think as South Africans, it's about time we actually get to adapt to that and see this and take it as something that is positive. Personally, I've got my own opinions about Sundowns. But you know, the strategy really worked. Thank you, sir.
For time, my brother, for time. Thank you. Sutu King, where are you, my brother? Did you jump off? Just request again so I can let you in, my brother. I can let you in. I know you've got a different viewpoint to this. For me, when we speak about tactics and things, I'm not saying that anything Hugo Bruce did was wrong or anything. What I'm saying is these are the little things you watch and you see that become big things sometimes at a certain point. For example, we saw that our left-hand side was weak, a little bit weak for the duration of the tournament. And also, we know that Umudiba is not a traditional left back. So at some point, it was going to catch up. Now, he did go back 5 in order to solve that problem. Maybe I wouldn't have done the same thing, but he did go back 5. But when we're speaking about these tactics and things, that's why we're having these conversations. It's not to say that Bafana's bad or Bafana should do this or Hugo Bruce must go and all of that. It's just to have that convo. Even Makgopa. Personally, I don't think Makgopa is a bad player, honestly speaking. I just feel as though Mahupa, whether it's at Pirates or whether it's at Bafana Bafana, he gets put into uncomfortable positions for his skill set. So we know Gutuk Trapawake is not that good. We know that he's taking on a man is not that good. We know that sometimes Amaontuwake, he doesn't execute them well. He's more of a box player who finishes. So the more you move him away from the place where he's comfortable, the more he does uncomfortable things and looks bad. You get what I mean? Aubrey Mudiba is incredible at Sundowns. Do you know why? At Sundowns, defending isn't his number one priority. They've literally set up so that Umudiba can go forward and play. He's a midfielder basically at Sundowns, who when they're in rest defense or the defending, slots into left back. But we all know that Mudiba, if you beat Mudiba, there's Lebusa, there's AB. You get what I mean? The Sundowns players, am I freezing? Okay, it seems that on TikTok we are freezing. I'm freezing on TikTok. Oh, it's only the visual. Okay. If you guys can hear me, that's
Never
fine.
mind the freezing. We can
Okay.
actually hear you.
No, it's cool. If you guys can hear me, that's fine. Where was I? Yeah, Sundowns. We say Mvala and Tekana come from Sundowns, therefore they should be comfortable on the ball, as well as Mukwena. The truth of the matter is, when Sundowns builds from the back, they don't play through Mvala or Kekana. They play through Kutsia, and Kutsia plays through to Mudiba or Allende, one of the two. So now, when you come in here and we say, yeah, but guys, these guys are comfortable in all of that stuff, we are not looking at the little things that make these players, right? Percy Tau is incredible. He's a very good player at Al Ali. And it's because Percy Tau is forced to be disciplined at Al Ali. He's not running to the left, coming back to the right. If he does that, he's going to crowd Umalul at Al Ali, for example, right? And they're incredibly disciplined with what they do. So now he comes to us and we see him running around. Upra Temba Zwani. Firstly, we know he's not going to finish a match. He's got about 75 minutes at max in him. But the key thing that they do at Sundowns, like explained earlier, is Kutsie, Allende, Zwane. Zwane doesn't have to go look for the ball. There's two players in Mudiba and Allende who are looking for the ball, who play the ball. Then Mukwena cleans up and he gets to connect with the guys up front, Abo Ribeiro, Abo Shaluli. But if you don't have that connection from the back to the front, or you don't have that midfield connection, Zwane goes missing because that's not his role. But anyway, I don't want to say too much. Sutu King, welcome, my brother. How are you? Am I still audible, guys? Am I still audible?
You are audible, Khotman.
Tell me, Sutu King, how are you doing? Well, what are you seeing from this?
How are you guys?
I'm good. Two questions. What did you think of the game?
Sir.
And what did you think of Sianda Kulu's inclusion in the starting lineup?
Yeah, so this is my opinion, guys, and that's how I saw the game. Ne? Let's not.
No, don't worry.
I'm not against Bafana Bafana, or I'm not for what they did. But yeah, first and foremost, I just want to congratulate the boys, ne, for reaching the semi-final. So I think that the Kulu inclusion program, it worked. Guys, am I audible, ne?
You're audible. We can hear you.
Thank you, boss.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm saying I think the Kulu inclusion was very critical and it worked for us. Because if you look at the front three, yeah, Nigeria, that Osimhen, Simon, Lili, Lukman, like they were outplayed. The only threat was Osimhen and through headers as well.
Okay.
And then we saw how Nigeria throughout the tournament, their midfield is very, very weak. So as soon as you close down Iwobi, which worked for us, because that's why Mukwena was playing at the back, more at the back. So I think the Kulu inclusion was very critical and it did work for us.
Okay.
What cost us, Rona? It's clinical. We're not clinical in front of goals, guys. We created so many chances. We created so many chances, and this has been a problem, Bafana Bafana. Even at the domestic league, we can't use our chances.
Okay.
So, and on the day, our best players were not up to standard, Buffett. I think the being Kori semi-final overwhelmed the boys because no one believed Bafana Bafana would reach semi-finals. So basically, mentally, they were like defeated before they even play.
Yeah.
No one believed they can beat Nigeria, especially the South African supporters. No one believed Bafana Bafana would beat Nigeria. So coming into this game, you saw from the beginning, the only player for me that was exceptional on this game, like Spepelo. Spepelo was 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Because he tried to link Tembazwani, he tried to link Evidence Mahopa. Remember, they were playing 5-4-1, Bafit. Because I see a lot of blaming on Mahopa, which is, I don't think it's fair. Playing 5-4-1 and then Tau dropping back, Tembazwani was not up to scratch on that game. So you saw if Mahopa can get the ball, what he can do. You saw the sniper's shots that he can pull. You saw that. So yeah, so unfortunately we didn't make it, and penalty for me it's lottery. I know you blaming movement, Evidence Mahopa and the confidence taking a penalty, but he could have scored even working like that. Penalty, it's lottery, guys. A lot of players can score penalties working like they don't even want to go and kick the ball.
I think what people are complaining about more than anything, guys, you can still hear me, no?
Yeah.
I see. Apologies to those who are watching, and it's a bit frozen on TikTok. I think what people were complaining about is more of, you know how you have preferred takers, like for example Mokoena, even though he missed, even though Usbisi, those guys, rather throw them in first, and then see later on Nabo Mahopa so that you can assure yourself. But to try give them chances now in, like, if Mahopa is not taking penalties for Pirates,
Yeah, agree. No, fully agree.
Hey, put him in Ivory Coast in a semi-final. It's hot. It's lit.
I think also Bruce was trying to prove a point with Mahopa, because I think Hugo Bruce is reading a lot of comments from supporters on media. Yeah, I think he was also trying to prove a point, which it didn't work.
Okay. No.
So yeah, unfortunately, had luck to the boys, but I think we need to keep him, that coach. I know they want him gone.
Let me jump in. I wanna go back to Vovo. There's a point that you raised, Suzuki. Vovo, when we look at the team's makeup, and outside of complaining, I don't want us to complain about who was picked and who has done this and all of that. Do we think that with the players that were there, we had enough players to maybe change a game when we needed it? Or maybe do you think that Hugo Bruce didn't trust his bench enough when it came to crunch time? Like, for example, I've seen times during the AFCON where star players are coming off and you're like, where are you taking Yves Bissouma in the match we played versus Mali? Where are you taking Victor Osimhen in this game? Does he have a trust of those players that he chose?
Is this one for Vovo? Right?
For Vovo, yeah, for Vovo.
Uti, honestly, us as a country, I won't say the coach only, but us as a country, we didn't trust the substitute or the reserves, and then obviously the starting lineup starting lineup sokuqala from game 1. The only change there was Leyana Yakakulu, you know. So the only player that I trusted, I meant to say, was Umasego. But Masego naye he lacks something, man. He lacks something because every time when he receives the ball, all he does is run and run and run. Yeah, no cross. Like every time when he run, it's either we see receive a corner. Yeah, but he can't cross. He can't do anything. So at least I mean, I was suggesting, ne, ukuthi at least if he took Umayo, then Reyners maybe there, or to Priest. Yeah, one or that little boy, what do you say? Kevin Spurs, is it Batman or something? Ne,
Mara, let's stick to the 23. Let's stick to the 23. Now, Itimi Hambile, there's 23 of them. Surely you should have plan B's, C's, D's with the players that you have there. Surely you should be able, and I know to give him credit, Morena came in, Kulu was taken out for Grant. We saw Maseko get injured, but that's only what, 14? There's still 9 other players. Do you think that maybe you should have trusted the other guys a bit more as well?
Yeah. Bekumele vele about trust, you know. But mina isquad sakhe was to prove a point to a country, which you know, the country has favorite players and supporters has favorite players. I meant to say, so those favorite players, I need to cut them off and take whatever le mina ngifuna and prove them wrong, which is wrong, man. You know. So it was needed there. Honestly, was needed there. And then players that are performing to different teams were needed there. Abu Mashiko, abadlali teamini yabo. Yabona, it's one player vele namanje ngisakhala ngayo ukuthi ufunani lapha, you know. So another point, I was talking to someone ukuthi if we had a striker like Kilampila, believe you me, finally besizobe silapha because Kilampila knows how to hold the ball, and then he like passing nayo umnandi, playing 1-2, it's very good, yabona. So we needed that. We needed that type of a striker. Umahopa, I can't blame him that much because I think it was Pilano Kunta saying ukuthi they didn't pass him a ball, yabona, and amabhola amanye he had to fight for amanye amabhola, yabo. So nathi going forward, mostly we made a lot of back passes. Abomdiba when Mahopa takes a run in front of Ebertin inside the box, Bagmela cross, he would hold the ball, back pass, you understand? So that's one thing we needed to work on.
Time, Bob, I'm just gonna have to jump in and keep us on track. I'm seeing a comment here. I saw a comment here before I come to Tebza, and I want to ask the comment section. Michael says containing Nigeria strikers and playing long and winning second balls was a genius tactic. That's what Michael said. That first part, containing Nigeria strikers. Nigeria strikers weren't the most prolific in this tournament, and we've seen them being stifled a lot, especially about Osimhen. Was it a genius tactic to try and stifle guys who weren't scoring already, and give them too much attention and too much love and sacrifice an extra player so that you can sit back? Was it too much, or did he do the right thing? There for the comments. That's the question I have for the comments. Tebza, you've got 23 men in your squad. You've got 23 men, and I know me and you. I'm gonna liken it to a club that we both follow. We've got 23 people in a club. You've got however many people that you've brought along, but we keep seeing the same starting lineup, and then we keep seeing that even when the guys who are on are not performing, they're not getting a chance. Other guys are not getting a chance. Do you think that Hugo Bruce should have done something maybe a little different or had a plan B, plan C, especially for players that he chose to go to this AFCON with? Should he have trusted them more?
Yeah, you see, as a coach, this is a national team. You understand? Like how you have a team here, you bought players. Those players are being bought by you. You understand? And even this team, it's our national team. You selected the players, so it means you trust these players, all of them, because a national team is a team of players. The best play. He's actually saying this is our best 23 players in the whole country. You understand? So you must believe in all the players that you have selected.
Okay.
It means you took two players in each position, knowing that if this one gets injured, I trust this one to cover that position. If this one is off form, I trust this one that will give us the same quality. When I make substitutions, the quality doesn't go down. You understand? So that's how I believe what a coach must be when selecting a national team. Trust the players. If someone is off form, take him off unless you are leaving him in the field because you know there are those players where you just have to keep them in the field just to scare the opponents. We understand that. No, if I take off this player, the opponents will give us more pressure now because there will not be a fear factor in our team. So if you have selected the players, please trust the players that you have selected. Hence, when we saw the squad that he has selected, when he announced it, we were skeptical. We said, who's gonna replace Uzwan when he's off form or if he gets injured there? We always say those players, Boloch and Bumbule, are even if they are half fit, they are better than other players. I don't want to point names. We have to be positive in this aspect. You understand? So you have to select those players, even if they are half fit, because you look at other nations, they do that. Your star player is your star player. If the player is good, whether he was off half the season, but then if he's fit to go to the tournament, select him, let him go there. But when they get injured, but then they still bata fall la copy. You understand? Not unyata baba. It's just that you know the quality that those players possess. You understand? So if we had other players, I think he didn't trust them. That's why he didn't put them. Because if he did, Bruce is he's a no-nonsense coach. He would have done that. But then he knew deep inside him that these ones I don't trust. He had no options. But then going forward, I think he will do the right thing. We will improve, man. He saw everything, and then he sees that he saw that we want Zwan in the team, and it doesn't mean that he doesn't see who we want also in the squad. He will keep his eye on those players that we were crying about. Come the World Cup qualifiers, he will select those players, provided they hit top form. He will select them.
Okay. Let me go to Campbell. Campbell, when we played Cape Verde, Cape Verde had a tactic that players on their team that they trusted to start the games. So they play, and then they knew that even though Bebe and those guys were starting previous games, we can then switch the game later on, which showed a little bit of a good use of the squad. Do you think that our 23-man squad was enough? Because also Hugo Bruce had the choice to go to 27, but he said he's only picking the 23. And do you think that he trusted the guys on the bench to change games enough? And it's not to say they did badly. It's not to say Bafana Bafana was doing badly, but there were times where people weren't performing, and maybe we could have gotten something if somebody from the bench was trusted more.
I don't think so. I don't think so. And it takes us back. It will take us back. How do we select players? Because Because if you check, he only rely on 13, 13, 14 players. We know if we take Tembazwani, we already know who gonna put. So now when it comes to this last game, Maseko is out. Then he's confused. Because we know you only got Maseko, Marena. So you ask yourself, how do we select players?
But
If we
Apolis
select
was
players
right there.
regarding performance, then what we saw there is not that. But if we select players regarding performance, it means what we saw there is not what we needed. So going forward, we need to question how do we select players? Because if we select players regarding performance, it means we needed Mayo. It was not there. Some of Kashif's players, the guy who's the attacking midfield of Sundowns, of Kaizer, I can't remember his name. He was not there. So this young boy from I don't know this young boy, the midfield. I don't know the team that he plays, but you cannot select that boy. He's still young. He's still young. He can be fit enough, but he's still young for that tournament. We do needed experienced players. When you take out Zwane, you know you're gonna put another Zwane. Look at Mokoena. If there was somebody who can replace Mokoena, we were going to put Mokoena out for the next game. But we can't. He only rely on 11 players. And now you look at how our last game it was. Our last game it was when you take out some. I thought the first 11 Morena was going to be there because of the speed and the experience. Then, but we lack that. We know we played well. That's why I said the way he played is because of he wanted to defend, to make sure that we don't consider goals. But can we create more chances to score goals? We can't because our plan A is only to defend. And then maybe if we got those chances, then we can score. Then it means we got a big problem. Going forward, we got a big problem. Makgopa, I can't blame Makgopa regarding how he played. I can't blame, but if there was somebody else to replace Makgopa, he was supposed to do that. He didn't have a plan B. He relies only on 12, 11 players. It means the whole players that he selected, he was not sure what he was doing. But if he was sure with what he did with those players, when he called them in that first squad, he was supposed to play them. He never had confidence on those players. My question is, how did he select those players?
Okay. Let me go to.
We don't know, but going forward, but because of this, it was only the let me say this. Maybe because of it was only this tournament and it's done. Going forward, it will be better.
Okay. No. Thank you, Campbell. Let me go to Sinje. Sinje, we had a conversation. We had a conversation before we went to AFCON, and I just want to preface this by saying that us discussing what could have been done better doesn't mean they didn't do well. I just want people to understand that. But we had a discussion before we came to the tournament where Hugo Bruce had elected not to go for the full 27 players. And then he went for 23, and he said that he doesn't want to bring guys who may never get to play or may not fit into the team, and it's harder to keep these guys in line and admin and all of that stuff and costs. Do you think that we got the return from this squad? Because we out of the 23 players, I believe maybe 14 made it out, and it didn't seem like we had a plan B for when things got a little bit tough or when we needed to change gears as other teams had. What do you think about that? Do you think he didn't trust some of them maybe to do some things?
Well, I think, Mr. Oche, I asked this question the very first time. I asked this question last year. I have listened to Hugo Boss's all press conferences. All I have heard is him complaining about the state of our football, the quality of our football, the quality of our leagues, the quality of teams, and so on and so forth. Nowhere in his press conference do we hear does Hugo Boss say is the strength of South African football. Because it is built, you cannot build a team from what is wrong. You build a team from what you have identified as the strength of the team. Now, if you look at the players that Hugo Boss brought to the AFCON, it raises a question on saying, what is his game plan, tactical outlook and game plan that is going to use to ensure that he wins the games that he's going to play? Now, if you look at, I don't want to be comparing the two, rugby and soccer. You could see in the World Cup that the technical team knew which team they're likely to play, and they had a game plan of winning that team. In Hugo Boss's case, in South African case, you watch even the coach when he's making substitution. Give me one game when Hugo Boss made the first substitution, was the first coach to make a substitution. All the games that he has played, he makes substitution after the coach that he's playing, after the team that he's playing against makes the substitution. It means that if you're looking at the opposition, they are watching the game and like, okay, we came here to win. We are not scoring the goals. This is why we are not scoring the goals. Let us fix that by making these substitutions. In our national team coach, he's sitting there watching what is going to be happening from the opposition side. Then he reacts by making those substitutions. But if you look at the substitutions that he's making, are not substitutions that are aimed into winning the game. They are substitutions that are aimed to manage the game. Yet he is losing. In the Nigerian team, this last game, Nigeria made 6 substitutions. 6 substitutions, and all of them are intentional in terms of how to create a goal-scoring opportunity. And when those substitutions came, guess what? They got a goal. They made a second substitution, a second lot of substitution by adding 2 more players. Guess what? There's a player that almost scored a goal, but he decided to run around Rowan Williams.
And the red
that
card.
Comes from a,
and the red card.
That comes
play.
from a direct tactical change. If we are looking at the players that, and I've always said this, I don't think a national team, you pick the players because they're the best. You pick players that you think they can execute your game well. Now, my question is, what is your game? What is your game? And I'm going to go back and watch these games. Maybe I'll identify what is Hugo Boss's game. Then maybe we can know why he has not played the rest of the players.
I think also. Okay, no, yeah, go on.
No, I'm listening.
No, I was gonna say, I think Hugo Bruce does phenomenally well with his starting lineup. On a starting lineup, he's very strong. I think starting lineup for when you're coming into play against a team and you've done your research, it's Steve Barker. You've come in, you've studied the team, you've got the thing. The only problem that I see with Hugo Bruce and the technical team, and again, I don't want to blow it out of proportion and say that it's bad or whatever, it's what we can improve, is that the secondary change when the other team has moved. So the other team moves, puts us under pressure, maybe scores or does whatever, and then that's when we want to react. But also when we react, the quality of the players that we're bringing in for the system that we're playing, is it good enough, right? So for example, if Evidence Mahopa is a very good player at holding up the ball, or we want him to hold up the ball, or we want him to do all those things, right? why not bring Grobler, who does the exact same thing at Supersport, does it pretty well, and scores goals? Hey, somebody's thing is going off. You know,
No, it's
that's
fine.
why.
Sorry.
Oh, that's why I'm like, my thing about Bafana Bafana is, we know Tembazwane is not going to be there for 75 minutes, right? What happens when Tembazwane comes off? And the sad thing I was saying that, do we have another system we could play? For example, Cape Verde played us with a completely different team. Well, not completely, but they had made fundamental changes to their team so that they knew that, okay, let them play. Is that when we get to a certain point of the game, we'll bring on Bebe, we'll bring on Kelsin, and they'll be able to give us a different impetus. Nigeria took off Victor Osimhen, put on number 24. Number 24, if not for Grant taking on for the team, almost has a goal because he's playing a different game or he's bringing something else on. And we barely see that from Bafana Bafana.
Which is my problem. And it's not that, Mr. OT, we don't have the players to do that. My problem is that our coach decided to leave behind players that have that capability. And the biggest question that we are supposed to be asking is, why did you leave them behind? Knowing fully well that they add a different dynamic in terms of football, or do you not believe in their different dynamism that they bring to the squad? If not, then it's fine. Then you must take accountability when people are criticizing when your plan A is not working and you don't have a plan B. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Is that we don't mind if you are saying, I don't believe in false nines, I don't believe in running football, I don't believe in possession-based football, I believe in defending football, play on the transition and score the goal, which is fine. When that does not work and you don't have a plan B, don't be surprised at the criticism. Do not be surprised at the criticism. My only problem is this. We have players that are able to change the game, bring different aspects of the game, dangerous. I mean, if you are going to go to a tournament of this nature and you don't bring your top 3 goal scorers, for me, that says a lot.
Okay.
That, for me, that says a lot. If you are going to a tournament, I don't mind Lipasa, I don't mind Mahopa, but you can't leave Mayo and Reynas, because those two combined have more goals than your front three put together.
For time, last statement for time.
Last statement. I pray and hope that when Hugo Boss comes back, he really learns to beef up his squad and play without favoritism. We already know that he had his starting lineup a long time ago. But my biggest concern even then was that he is not adding to those lineup. He is not adding players to be part and parcel of the system that is going to play, so that we can have diversity in our football. But anyway, congratulations to Bafana Bafana. We will see them when they come back. Go and welcome them when they come from the airport, and make them feel special, because hey,
we think so well. But yeah, guys, before I bring in Velid, the whole point of this conversation, guys, and I'm going to say it one more time, is not to say that Bafana Bafana is bad, that Bafana Bafana should never play, that we should disregard everything they've done. What we're doing in this conversation is, let's drill into some of the things that we could do better. I don't think anybody here can say that our substitutions are the best in the world. Timing, change, things like that. We're not saying that they're bad. We're just having a conversation about how can we improve on this incredible thing that we saw. We saw an incredible thing, but there have been little niggles and naggles here and there, and it's in the service of wanting to go from semi-final to final. How do we go from semi-final to final next time? How do we make sure that we're creating more chances next time? How do we make sure that when Mali changes games, we don't lose 2-0? Or when Nigeria changes games, you don't come under pressure? And yes, again, it wasn't a bad game. It's not a bad game. But how do we take the next step? How do we make sure that when Themba Zwane comes off of the pitch, we have a plan for how we're going to rejig the team when Themba Zwane is off? How do we make sure that when Percy Tau, who we all agree hasn't necessarily been playing the greatest football, how do we make sure that when he comes off, there's something? I've already said that I feel like, for me, we're wasting Umahupa to a degree. If we're going to play heavy transitional football and we're going to abandon, we stop playing that route one, first man to the ball thing. Put Umahupa on the bench, let Percy Tau play as a fourth nine, and then when things are looking different and you need a change, you bring in Mahopa and Lepasa. You've got 2 foxes in the box, you take out Themba Zwane is going to come out, and you play a different type of football, right? That's what we've seen a lot of at this AFCON. It's not we're not having this conversation to bash Bafana Bafana. It's not a bashing conversation. It's a football conversation, guys. How do we get better? When we go home, I can tell you right now, Rose, Helden, Kelele, Sapa, whoever, imagine, went home and they sat down and they said, okay, guys, what did we do wrong this game? What did we do right? What can we do right for the future? That's all we're doing. That's all. Veli Leptarava, how are you, my brother? Because I'm going to ask you to very quickly tell me what you thought about the game. Then I'm going to ask you the same question. Do we trust the 23? Yonke, maybe much better something called one bench that can come in and change the game. Should some other players have been given a chance from the bench?
Hey, no, I man. First of all, let me greet everyone who's on the panel. And I'm on his own impela no one on manager the panel. So Jay the Begunzi is all. But class the manager.
Hey, but it's fine.
Yeah. No, now we're already doing the post-mortem.
We still at third place, man.
No, it doesn't matter, but I can tell you, those guys who are in the game are not even looking forward to it. That's the game that nobody wants to play. It's a waste of time, that game. I just feel you're going to play on a semi-final. If you lose, you go home. The thing of third place losers doesn't add any value. Just a waste of time. Yeah. No, let's go to our national team. I think the first thing, the problem, yesterday's games, we were scared. According to our lineup, we were scared of Nigeria because in Nigeria, it started. We were playing 5-4-1, actually. So we know like the back five. Then there's 4 in the middle field with one striker who was in, but with the other wings that coming in, that's coming from the midfield. So it is like the first game, and there was no need to include Utlud because on our inclusion, we have to make a sacrifice of Moran, of which Moran was selling more value moving forward. If you look at our past 3 games, first of all, we have to identify what was the reason. Because remember, Utlud was the first preference. Yeah, he was to defend Baba, and he failed first game in the match, failed dismally, which led to the introduction. In the second game, of which then that's when our defense was stable with Utekan Uvara and Umuda on the right and Umudimba on the left. So I don't understand what was the need for him to change, because now we are still defense and look at even those strikers that we were scared about putting in those defense. If we from their first game, they were not so clinical. We have to discuss if we buy not that clinical. So I think our defense based on Pilana actually pick, because there between Umuro and Utekan, everyone would have understood their role. But now they check Venezo. But Chaisa like had this thing because no one would be and sweep or should go for Chaisa. And then if you look at what like defensive primary role is to protect the back for it. So if move forward, then he can move it to right back on left position just to give them cover and to give them space to communicate and see with who and who close space and who's this. So the image of complicated. I just feel even fast in terms like moving forward. In terms of position transition, so we lead of you because now it leaves Umakhuba alone for the Pambi. And that's what the problem is we are no longer like letting when I think in that inclusion I said that it just put us at the point of like we would be best nice on our front foot playing our own game in that second game. There's a better with Utau, also with Umako, and we do from there.
Let me see. Kumo. Okay, Billy, do you want to say something?
No, I'm going to go to the second point.
Second point. Do you feel as though this team, this 23, do you feel as though it was utilized? I don't want to make a question about who should have came, but 23 players. Do you think that maybe some of them could have been a chance to make change or something?
It goes back to head coach. Head coach here to stubborn. First of all, it could have been you can bang usually okay because those players that were selected the wrong players. That's why when the time for him to take us down and use those players, not hard for him to introduce them because now it was and still those ones that are on the page they won't fit in here. He actually selected the wrong players, not the players that are deserving to be there. At the same time, you're being given an opportunity to increase your 27 players. You exist already. Instead of including those you put that you at least you feel a little hope there. But if we move maybe no Lloyd or even less or even Hobla, it will be better. Don't give it to do that. You don't need to prove a point anyone. It seems like you're just trying to prove a point. If you look at the most effective substitution this time, they must say, Utara Venas game over fast. I was not just see Temba and my dinner failing a second. So I know we cast the people who sit on the bench. When they has on first 11, but those on the bench, then I believe that those my you know my feeling with that.
Okay. Let me go to Ukuma. How are you?
Thank you. And so what time did you start the show? 7 or 8 o'clock?
Oh no, 7 for Epcot. 7 for Epcot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kuma, tell me very quickly, what did you think of the game that we played yesterday? And then the main question is, 20 that we took, do you think that the guys who were there, did they get enough chance where they trusted by Bruce? Did they have a plan B for them to come in and should we have?
How exciting was today's game? Hey, yo, it ain't everything. That's why one motion. You my heart, and I don't even have made it. So yeah, that game was everything like VAR craziness. If you're gonna be honest, and moving motiveness aside, we actually worked in Nigeria in one aspects besides actually everywhere. Yeah. They were taking everywhere. We were actually better than Nigeria because we had more tackles, more shots on target. The shots were even. We had more chances. I think we didn't have a force. We didn't have a problem. We didn't have to actually have those quality finishes. You know, because we could have won things if you're being honest. Based on what we did, yeah, they gave it everything. That's what I say. Yeah, on the other hand, the player Bruce, you know, everyone was like, I'm not a supporter, but I have to people by and give credit to you. He did great wonders by getting to where we are. But also on that, like you can't help but think, is this because of Sundowns of what Rolandi did? I didn't want to go to the territory because of I think he relied more on the Sundowns way of playing, you know, retaining the ball, passing around, or one of the ball so smoothly, like looking for small pockets. That's exactly how Sundowns plays. Obviously, he had the Sundown players. So my point is, I'm not trying to say it's only because of Sundowns. I'm just trying to understand if you have another game plan. And don't get me wrong, guys, I'm not criticizing Bruce because for the sake of it, I'm a fan, I'm South African, and I love my team. I'm happy to be where we are, because it's been how many years, 2 decades ever since we reached the finals. But my point to bring Sundowns into this, like you say, there was no impact player on the bench, right? And obviously, if you play for Sundowns, you don't really know the system. And the other thing, we saw we didn't even have some people hardly got a chance. Where Adams had you only saw the or a policy or they're gonna play this type of matches. So my guy, no problem. Again, if only we had more fun, because I refuse to believe for the only strikers we have the force who should quality behind. We midfield who should quality behind. And like like doesn't know where he stands. He said he's gonna take people that are on form, we go to Mario. He said he's gonna take people that have to be there, we go to Bob. So we don't know how he chooses this team. So a lot has to be asked and you actually be catching feelings. So those are great questions and you have to intake. But yeah, you know what? The way to learn that it was this week of holding me, Nigeria did everything, and we still ball on a hundred every time they portray. The PSL African players from South Africa is quality, man.
Even the goalkeeper plays well.
And it's not even like the number one keeper. Our league, bruh. It's always there. Our league is there. So it's just look to have low Nigeria, man. The game was nice. It was a defeat could handle because yeah, not like people play anything.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Let's go to Darren.
Sure.
Tell me very quickly, you talk about the game very quickly, and then the main question is, 23. Do you believe there was a plan to use all 23? Do you think that Hugo Bruce gave them chances to change the game in some places? How do you feel about that, the squad and how they were used?
Yeah, let me start on the 23 players, especially ones on the, I think, very fair, very experimental. I don't know what the aim was there. I think with the 13 players that he's used frequently, you can tell there's a lot of quality in our football. You can definitely where we belong and where we're going. But in terms of the bench, a lot of us are confused as to what the intent was, because you can see there's nobody that can match the quality in terms of bringing out Tembazwane and who can replace Tembazwane, who can replace Percy on the bench. Quite very difficult to understand what the logic was there. Moving on to the game, I think personally, technically, it was very good. But instead of Kulu, I think that's where the fitness comes into play. Because for me, I feel like you need a player like Tabang Munai that could actually allow the likes of to even Aspera on the left side, Mukwena to advance a lot going forward. So you can tell that with the Kulu decision, you're looking a lot of meat in terms of the bench itself. But I think one thing Hugo Bros has done for the longest time since to me, a lot of analysis, you analyze South African game, but you wouldn't tell what the identity of the football was. And I think the very good thing that I've seen in this tournament is that every sports analyst would talk about identity of Southern football. And I think that's the biggest milestone we've seen, that we have an identity. We have a bunch of a very coachable team on the ground in the starting lineup. They can adjust to the tactics very smoothly. You know what the game demands at the right time. For me, one thing that I must give credit to Hugo Bros is bringing that identity to say, let's be bold on the ball. Obviously, the influence comes from Sundowns, but for me, Sundowns didn't start dominating the league this year. We've had chances to qualify for the World Cup, we failed. We've had chances to qualify for the AFCON, we failed. So for me, the difference was Hugo Bros in so many years that we've had in the country. So I'm still sure about the left situation. I think some of the chances that Hopper would have had, you can clearly see how someone of Life Force's quality could have lead those chances. And that's where we missed a bit of quality in terms of that Life Force experience for me was a big mess. But it's easy to talk in that retrospect. It's easy to talk now. Mahopa did what he could. And I mentioned on Tuesday, I think, that don't play Pesita in the wrong position. Throughout the tournament, we've criticized the man, but if you were to look, in the 2 games where he played where he's supposed to play, we were very much a threat in front. We created more chances than we've done in multiple games. So for me, that was a big bonus to say Hugo Bros brought the guys together. The guys were motivated. The mental attitude was there. It was a peak. The guys looked like they were never tired. They were never tired. And the attitude was just good in general. And for us, that's what we've missed for so long in South African football, say the national team. Yeah. But for us, it's better to just pay the Chiefs. So.
Why did you do that? That conversation.
I had to sneak in that one. But yeah, very good game, very good tournament for the boys. And yeah, massive congrats for them. And I think Hugo Bros for what the answers to change a bit, because no one has any fucking clue what he's doing with that bench. Players, yes, but not yet. You know, let the boys go in their own leagues, in their own teams. We had a lot of qualities that have been on that bench. That's for sure. Yeah, that's from me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let me bring in Omar. Welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you? That's a little bit of flu, man.
Little flu. Is that well, Maran?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Maran, I have 2 questions for you. I want them to be shorter. What did you think of the game? And the second one, did we utilize the 23? I think our players should have been here, but did we utilize the guys bench? Should we have given them more chances to change games and do stuff like that? Does we trust his bench?
Yeah, I mean, let's start the game. And I feel we did the game. You know, let's take nothing away. We did dominate the game, and but the mistake I feel like when Nigeria made the sub of the biggest star, it shows that whoever's coming in, it might be in the same level with him, or he has the same qualities, you know. So they knew well that those guys were at the back. And the mistake that they did, you cannot play the ball at the back most of the time if the soldiers came in who can press and all those things. Hence, there was that mistake of a penalty. So sometimes you need to fix, you know, they have brought somebody and take the biggest star of Nigeria. What we need to do next, you know, we need to change the play. You know, we cannot play, if we play from the back, we need to be quick, you know. If we press, it's quick, you know, it's still like more than us and all that. Hence, there was like, it is because of that, you know, and then they got a penalty. And then that changed, game changer, you know. I feel the other thing that, you know, like, to be honest, what they play, guys. Let's be honest, what they play. You know, I think the 4 guys take them when it comes to defend all that. And then to be free, you know, for him to play and all that. So I feel that is the only thing that I've noticed. You know, we dominated the game, but that's not like that thing that got it off. So I mean, that's supposed to change also. You know, playing free. That's not a mistake.
And then what do you feel about the 23?
You know what? I think when we played Morocco, I said you cannot make us to predictable. But same team, Mali, same team when we back in here. Now all the team, which means we're a threat. So in playing, you know, change. You know, you cannot be 23 and keep the same team. The expenses there, we need, but you need to have an element of surprise. You know, bring somebody that didn't think in the field of play. And to be surprised, remember when you go and analyze the game there with the previous game, you cannot analyze the game with the upcoming game. You cannot. You analyze it on the tournament. You don't go back to Sugi. They're supposed to notice that now they analyze us when it comes to for example, Mkwena, Sitone, all those players. You understand? So when they start to analyze us, no good. If this you keep on making the same sub, which it was Lepasa, and the other got injured, Masebo. You understand me? Others. So it is the same sub. What about the others? You know, you're supposed to say, okay, this is you know, it means when you bring those 2 3 players, you trust in them. So brings element of to bring something different, so that when they analyze, they have to be confused also. You understand me? So, but I feel after the win of the game against Namibia, you can confidence to say this team will go all the way. But everything. Remember, these guys have change. Game time is so we're supposed to just give them at least 10 minutes, not 15 minutes time. So we bring him into the field. He has the legs to carry and the game time and all that. You understand? I feel they didn't use them as much as to do. That's my take.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I
think it was the same sub. So I don't know, and I think one last thing. I think Mbala, like, you know, we know he has mistakes and all that, but bring Kulu to come and play with him. They won't together. He's supposed to know that was the biggest mistake that he did. He's supposed to bring somebody that is going to be comfortable when Moses Mbala is playing again. With, you know, somebody's going to be comfortable with him together. Simple as that.
Okay.
That's it. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you. Let me go to Mr.
Uti, gimana?
Right. Well, look, tell me 2 things. Number 1, what do you think of yesterday's game? And number 2, 23. Did we utilize well? Do you think that more people would be given a chance and come and change games? Does Hugo trust those guys?
Alright, today's game is very difficult to analyze, to be honest with you. I don't think it's as clear as make it seem to be. And I think one person who grasped the top of the game, the OAJ, when he spoke about being disciplined to remain within play and not be tempted to pass the ball around. And I think we finished that. We honest about your point. If you're attacking early, it doesn't mean you're on the front foot. That is exactly what you want. It actually means you're back foot. You understand? We went with the 5 defenders. Hey, that's the Eddie Lane with the OT. I used to go up, who can hold over guys, oh my God, it's not perfect yesterday. Guys, please, man, make examples about other people. Guru was spot on yesterday. He made some clear blocks. He made clean tackles on Osimhen. 2 clean tackles in the box. And yesterday, I'm the same thing that got us a penalty. So that day, man, against Guru, man. Guru did it extremely well yesterday. The man was coming all right. Umuka extremely well holding the balls up. So, then they are not only the 23. I would entertain the question, who did was in faith. But I don't have this, I struggle to find a substitute for Evans. I hope it's going to keep it in line tactics. I really struggle. We don't need it there. We don't prefer. But he's a center line. You understand? He's like who is humble as possible. You get what's going to work hard. You get someone who's going to complain when bodies not easy. You understand? So I feel like this scouting would have been done to find an evidence-esque player. You understand? And that way we build up that data. And then that was an OT. He led number one. And it has to say with in as much as our best, he also proves his ability at times. And what do I mean? That he's old. And then everyone to see that every time that can complete second minutes. It's brilliant. We will have the ability to see that. Okay, and now we rely on him because he is our best player on the creatively. The second, do the last one ball of the OT. The crowd was excited with but he's going to coach him. You understand? I would only call, I would get 5 players who have been called as coverage. Going into the tournament, we knew, and we're starting to find the quality. For me, I'm going to count the fact I might be wrong, fine. But they all have limits. It wasn't matches. He had not played for the time. The second was we still got the right at one. But you make this one, I'm brilliant. I am counting past this. The first one for me, it's okay. But he's not been to that level. So can't really take you. The first one, here I am. But like the other kind of four, for me, those to rescue us, those the natural intents, the ones who are creative, who will rescue us. In the second one, like where we don't impose a system of coach. Those are the 5 players we did. And then one player who I feel like pretty down. Just Mukwa. I check him on the player. And I just not the right experience for this. Which is something we did in SA. And this is where I was blaming stuff for friends for national team. And by enough friends, not just against Lesotho. Top of these. And matching against Argentina, Brazil. It just against Cameroon. Every against Chile. Every against Paraguay. Every against Brazil. You understand? To build character with the players that we stick out with the national team. I mean, can you somebody who I would have not called because he's not a bit of capable system to take. I would love to see him. He's not position. Maybe show coach by his way of playing. Say, coach, I know we prefer a system like this, but I can provide a variation to your system. Playing like this, you understand? So that's why the reason on the ball you can somehow coordinators if we are friends, it's not far get buzz people who coach, we can do the job for you. We know what you prefer behind and we never start play. But in this way we can do the job for you. That's why I squarely put the blame on the side of the guys and not let down the tree. You understand? Only player who's effective for me is Mushishi. When he was given the chance, he came to a friendly, came to a qualifier. One game for me that solidified his place as the main man of this Ivory Coast. You understand? And he had more of those type of friends. I think we could have been in a better situation. But and I ask you, I know I'm not supposed to be now. But to the bench, I had a bench on the I want to I bench. The bench in the OT. It's like most up in the frame of Caravano, sorry. Yeah, there was definitely no to replace them. Like in the only 2 players, they need to work on the attitude of the OT. For me, they have 2 players to the sides, There's people moving. And it moves in the right frame of mind with a creative 8 more than and help them as one. And another one is Kevin Weber. I feel like Kevin Weber is we need to call him. It takes time.
Okay, guys. That's my today. Okay, thank you guys joining me for the panel. I think I would close by saying, again, I think the conversations we're having, we had these conversations. It'll be once come out and say, Bruce must go back to Penta. One of the conversations to say, what can we do better next time? And I think one of my things that I've said a while is that, again, Hugo Bruce, I believe, is incredible. First off, Bafana Bafana is incredible first off. Where they get there and they are executing the plan for a team. Right? We want them to without man, nobody played bird, we saw this one, like this. Incredible. We played against Mali, first half was incredible. Then, what happens second half? And I think Hugo Bruce's issue for me is now. That comes with many things. A team might change how they play fundamentally. Right? They're very big guys, they take different guys first half. Second half, they came out and they brought in the guys, actually, but they brought in the guys that have an impact. Almost worked out for them. Mali took out is Bissouma, but second half changed fundamentally how they were playing, and it took us by surprise, we couldn't counter. So, internally to the team, the issue is the 2. Temple only don't finish the game. So, I see everybody about having a like-for-like replacement for Zwane. I'm saying, do you have a setup or a plan for when Zwane comes off that maybe change how you are playing? Maybe change how you're playing. Maybe go from 7 minutes to 90 minutes, you start crossing the ball towards Mahopa and you put on Lepasa because Lepasa also in the box, but can sometimes drop back and little play those things, right? Change how you play. Surprise them. Plan B. You know what I mean? That's why, for me, I always sit back and look at coaches and then you see learn the Excel where the coach has the plan A. It's an incredible plan A. It's an amazing plan A. We look incredible with the plan A. He doesn't make the change and now we don't know what to do. And now you're looking at a coach who chose 23 players. He's the one who said, I don't want to take 27, I don't want to take 30, I don't want to take so many. I want to take 23, and I want to focus up at 23 so that I can manage these guys. So for me, that was meant to mean that Adams has Adams. Okay, he came so. Adams doesn't have the requisite experience in the game. But don't fuck us so, and I'll hide him with this player, and I'll bring in this and put him here. Maybe we change. That's what I want to see from our coaches. That's what I want to see, especially when you've chosen the squad. You chose the squad for what I believe is a reason. But Bafana has been lacking in second halves. Again, not to say that they're bad, not to say that they need to change everything right away. But if you see something that consistently happens, the team do one look, second half they come out another look, and you have some issues. Surely then you have to look at your bench and go, or the players you select and go, how can I make use of these guys in a way that's going to be effective? Okay, they've been watching Mahopa play all of these games. You know what? They've been watching Mahopa, they know they're going to make us tick. I'm going to put Temba on the bench. And Temba that's 75 minutes, let's start from 0. Let's start from 15, 20 or half time. Then we can change again. He comes in, he shishes them, and then we can have a second impact. Right? Okay, how do we've seen these things happening at Akon, and I think that's to this point. We've seen these things happening at Akon where teams are showing you different looks, and teams are showing, okay, second half we can do a completely different thing. Nigeria was confident enough in the bench to take off Victor Osimhen, who's been terrorizing the back by K2 all game long. And like, no, even if it goes extra time, I'm going to take him out because I trust this guy to do something else. The 24 number 24, just very Dave, came onto the pitch, almost scored a goal, granted catch a red card. With Cape Bird, Kelson came off the bench with the Roman to make an incredible save. on the spot, in order to keep him up. Then came on, started doing some other things. You could see that, okay, this guy understands his bench. And I don't want to make it about the player that I should have won there. I don't want to make it about that. I want to focus on, okay, Coach Bruce, you selected this player, you sat down with your select squad, you looked at them, you watched PSL games, you watched overseas games, you did all of that stuff, you came with a list and you said, okay, for this tournament, I'm going to bring Alex with me. Surely then, I imagine you have a plan, you have a plan for Adams, surely you have a plan for other people that are on bench. We didn't necessarily get that. And maybe it's trusting, maybe it's you don't believe in risking that at that degree. Maybe it's just that. But when you pick a team, trust and know your team. You know what I mean? Like you pick a team, know exactly what you're going to do. It doesn't mean that you doesn't mean that you everything. But one team. It's what I complain about, just in my final point. It's what I complain about the Chiefs. We know that body is a completely different player to Porta, is a completely different player to Duque, right? But they're all playing the same system. And then each of their weaknesses are being exposed. Or maybe someone's off quality, maybe players off four. We have somebody who's off the bench, have the secondary plan for them. These are the things that I see from Bafana going forward. Because I think if we can cover those bases, then we can go to a final. We can win a final. We can do all that stuff. Changing, you know. I always go into Coach Rulani. Coach Rulani goes 2-0 down versus TS Galaxy. Coach Rulani goes 1-0 down versus Chiefs playing a certain way. Last 20 minutes, he decides, you know, screw this. I'm going to put everything on. And yes, I'm going to start and change how we approach this game, right? One the goal through the game versus Chiefs, one the back versus Galaxy. Stuff like that. Like, that's what I want to see. But guys, thank you to the panelists that joined me. Thank you for you guys for watching. Thank you to Mipei Volvo T. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for the gift. I went to Sutu. Thank you for joining me, guys. The show is on every Monday to Thursday. Next week, we'll move back to 8 p.m. We're also doing watch alongs on KSL when it comes back. We'll also have the final on Sunday, or the third place on Saturday, the final on Saturday. The Sunday episode we're going to be watching this week. If you want any of the previous episodes back, it's not just about reviewing games. It's not just about watching. We also have really cool in-depth discussions on a variety of things that affect football, especially local football. So if you want to watch any of them, they are available in full on YouTube and on Facebook. Please do me the favor of following this account, subscribing to the YouTube page, following the Facebook page. And then if you want to be part of our WhatsApp group, this way we have very in-depth conversations, even more than this, with no time for time. You can head on over to YouTube, click on subscribe, click on join, and Twitch here and Dstv. If you want my winners, where we speak about football all day long. Also, a Friday show, tomorrow's show is 12:30. They're going to be a special day, and they pick the that the perk of being a breadwinner of the show. I am your host, Jordan Winner. This is the Overthinking Football Show. I'll see you guys then tomorrow. At 12:30. Apologies for the freezing, guys. Apologies for the feeling glitching on TikTok. Apologies. I'm just having some problems there.